What's up? What's up? We are live, supposedly. So let me know if you can hear me. Everything is supposed to be good on my end. All right. This shit looks good. So I wanted to wait for people to get here, but nobody's here. Looks like everyone's sleeping or everyone's working. So if you are working and you catch a later version of this, write in the comments what you do and how things have been for you lately. Because times are strange and times are changing on the daily. So I heard, for instance, today that in Florida, masks are going to be mandatory for everybody, pending a $500 fine to those who default on that. Hey, a boy named Gilroy and Steve Thompson. What's up, guys? How's it going? What's the weather like over there? Here it's fucking rainy as shit. And I was working on my ad yesterday. Hey, Steve, how do you advertise, by the way? And because you're in Canada, so you have Kijiji in Ontario, which for guys in the States, it's kind of like Craigslist, but it's like Bush League advertising here. But like that's how a lot of people start out. Actually, that's where a lot of people stay. It's not a bad little app also, but you get a really low quality of customer. So that's why like we kind of well, that's uh that's why we wanted to get on Google and have a website and shit like that because we wanted to get we wanted people that were looking for tree work on Google to find us instead of just people that were looking for a bargain on tree work to find us. And it's I don't know why this is right now, but on the black market page, um, hey, John's here too. Hey, what's up? Yeah, make sure you wear your mask, man. On the black market ad site, like there's a lot of traffic going on right now. And I'm still getting views on my pictures on Google and stuff like that, but practically no one is hitting me up from Google and people are hitting me up on Kijiji. But oh, cool. All word of mouth, eh? That's sick. That's amazing, man. Like, and did you start working for someone else, like, when you started off, or did you start it for yourself? I'm just curious. I know a lot of guys worked in the industry. I did not very long though, but you know, uh, I'm just curious. I know a guy too. I know a guy here who works all word of mouth, and he's not even good. Fuck, but people think he's good. People think he's really good, and just because he has big arms and like whatever, fuck. But he always has jobs and shit like that, and he's able to be selective with his jobs, and he cuts every fucking corner you can cut, man. Yeah, this guy drives with his harness on and his climbing spikes, and his spikes are like full of duct tape and shit. And anyway, he went to the climbing store where I go to, and his setup was so ghetto that they gave him a free wire core flip line. And when I heard about this, I got really mad because I didn't get no fucking free wire core flip line. All I got was a free pair of boots. Remember these bad boys? Still haven't worn them. Still haven't needed to. But yeah, like what the fuck, man? Where's my free flip line? And where's my free spider jack? Come on, ART. I have more. Probably. I think I do. I think I do have more spider jack videos. than any other channel. But I digress. It would be cool. It would be cool to have another one. Yeah, so it's fucked up, man, because most of my business now, most of the calls for estimates now, 90% of them have been off of Kijiji. But it sucks, man, because now there's a bunch of big companies on there that weren't on there before. I used to have the first rank because I've been on there for 3 years. And I always, because there it goes by seniority and it goes by rating and stuff like that, but people don't rate it. So it's pretty much just seniority and views. So I've been on there for 3 years, like with my same ad, and I refresh it all the time. So the views just add up. And, I'm usually like top spot because of that. And even sometimes when I wasn't able to, fuck, I was reading a comment, so I couldn't concentrate because I'm stupid. Yeah, so what the fuck was I talking about? Anyway, yeah, so Steve, to answer my question, yeah, brother went to school for arborist work for a company. Then the two of us went out on our own. That's cool, man. That's fucking awesome. I wanted to mention that today also, fuck, about what the big companies are doing. Yeah, so, oh yeah, this is how I had top spot and how I maintained my top spot. And sometimes I was unable to refresh my ad on time. So I got bumped to the bottom and then I put it up again. But eventually, because of the pictures I put up, and you could link it directly to a YouTube video if you had one, and no one else had one because they're all fucking stupid. Fuck, they don't even know that people do tree work on YouTube. Honestly, they're just, most of them are landscapers that decided to get into tree work, like on the side. Fuck, because there's like money to be made in it. Like, yeah, there is money to be made in it. Like, but it takes a long time before you can comfortably get the jobs you want for the amount you want, and where all your equipment is paid off. And you're always getting new stuff. And like, you know, I know that the ideal setup is kind of, it's like a hypothetical thing, but that's what tree work is like though, because everyone does it their own way. And there are literally thousands of ways to get the same result. So, contrary to what a lot of people believe, like, not every arborist's goal is to just have like a fleet of bigger and bigger and more trucks and vehicles and a bigger stump grinder and a bigger chipper. Like, you only think that way kind of like at first when you don't really know any better. You want to be able to do everything, especially the things that like you're not able to do now that you've never done. And then when you get equipped to do all those things, you realize that you don't use the tools that you thought you would as much as you thought you would, and vice versa. So the only way to learn is experience. It's like branch pickup. Okay, I fucking hate collecting branches. It's like the worst fucking part of the job. And like, I'm very fond of saying, leave the garbage for the garbage men. Now, as a professional here, you're required to pick them up, but these customers, they don't find me on the professional fucking database. They don't even find me on Google. They find me on the bargain basement fucking database. And when I started off, I never picked up branches because I couldn't. I just had to pick up. So we'd have to, I charge a little bit less, than the guys that took the branches away. And, I would leave the branches there and people were fucking happy. And then I thought, okay, well, I can make a little bit more money if I offer that as a service, because people used to pay me to put branches in my truck and shit like that. And if the price is right, like sometimes I'd make like 3 or 4 trips even. And then I bought my trailer. I didn't buy it for branches. I bought it like, to put my tools in and to take away the wood and shit like that. But, then I bought a small chipper, and, it's really easy to get sidetracked like with all that stuff. And it's good that I have it, but, and I went through like a phase where I wanted to kind of like use my equipment as much as I could, even if it was overkill. And I don't know, I guess it was like the break-in period. So, I did a lot of jobs just so I would get to use all my tools, but jobs that didn't like pay me really enough, or like, pretty much that took way too long. And then, again, you realize I don't want to concentrate on branch pickup. And like now, for instance, it's one of the few things that you're not supposed to do. And that's like the one thing that people are calling for. They're calling for branch pickup. And, I explained to them that I can do storm damage or I can do emergency stuff. And hey, what's up, Andy? How's it going, man? So, yeah, so we can do emergency stuff or preventative pruning, which happens a lot, man. It happens a lot, but like people, they're not looking for that right now. They're looking for branch pickup because the city is not picking up branches. And I fucking I got a call the other day for an estimate for a tree that had been knocked over in a storm and a shitload of branches, and it was at least a trailer load's worth. And yeah, there's no way to really dispose of them traditionally because all the dumping grounds are closed, which is where all the other companies fucking get rid of them. So, we do it sometimes also. Like we pay $40 to deposit a trailer load of branches at the farm, but the farm is closed now. So what we do with the wood usually, we keep it and we sell it. We have to fucking bucket and split it though, and dry it and stack it. It's a lot of work, fuck. And but whatever, you're recycling your garbage basically that you ordinarily have to pay to fucking get rid of. So you do, yeah, you do a lot of work, but you collect the fucking profits from it. And when you get the profits from it, it's so far away. It's usually in the winter. I could sell firewood in the summer. I should. I have an ad up for that too, but people aren't buying that right now, even though they should. So it's there's not really a place to put the branches, and it's not considered an essential service. Even like landscaping is not essential right now. Like people are allowed to do it on their own. And some companies are going to think outside the box, and they're going to go in there like incognito and just send one dude to do it or whatever. But you're not supposed to do it, because it's not considered essential. And I know a lot of people like rely on it to make their living, but you're going to have to think of something else because, look, man, the grass can grow fucking 7 feet tall. It's not fucking life or death. It's not fuck. And, it's like really like that's what it kind of fucking boils down to. And, at least in my line of work, just like what the ISA said, if you can basically convince, the customer, and rightfully so, that what you're doing could be a matter of fucking potential fucking safety, i.e. life or death, because it doesn't take a big fucking branch to kill someone. It just has to fall straight. It can be very, very, very small. So, if there are limbs fucking constantly fucking bashing against a house in the wind, that sort of shit you're allowed to fucking do because it damages fucking private or public infrastructure. Now, if I were a landscaper, this is the fucking angle I would push. So it would mean that less fucking cutting lawns and rounding out hedges and more, I don't know, doing like more pressing type of work. Even let's say storm damage, if there is such a thing, but like not necessarily tree related, but that's a good way too to like kind of get a little bit into the industry, you know, and like, a tree that's like already fallen over. I mean, because it's not that hard to fucking limb a fucking fallen tree and then buck it up and then take it away and charge the customer money. So like, yeah, you can do that right now. But all customers want to pay for right now is branch pickup, and they don't even want to pay for it. So this guy had a tree that was knocked over and it was in front of his house and he just fucking left it there. And the branches are all like fucking, it's a pine tree and the branches are all mismatched. They're not even stacked in the same fucking direction. And it fell in October. Okay. So it's like that all winter. So this guy is like a lazy bum. And he sent me a message for a quote, and he sent me some pictures and stuff. And I told him $600 to take everything away. I said like $200 to take away the wood and to cut up the stump and to take the stump away. and the root ball was like out of the ground, and I said to like try to like pop it back into plates, which it eventually would do all by itself. So $200 to do that and 400 for the branches. And then he tried to lowball me $200 and he said, I'll give you $400 for everything. But there's like an entire trailer load full of branches, plus like, I don't know. The log wasn't very big, but it was maybe a foot and a half thick and 12 feet long. So, arguably like a trailer load full of branches and then with like chunks of the log stacked on top, or the entire log, like cut in half or like whatever, because it'd be too heavy to move. But it's an entire trailer load. And usually the rate, it's $500 a trailer load full of like whatever. You want me to take a whole trailer load of something? It's minimum $500. I've charged less. I've charged half that, but it's stupid. It's way too much work, man. And that's it. And usually, look, if you don't charge enough, customers don't respect your work. Especially if you do a good job. So charge a lot. And all you guys that are charging too little and think you're smart by undercutting everyone, you're not, man. You're not making any money on the job, and you're driving the prices down. Not only for everyone right now, and if you wonder how does this affect me now, it might not affect you now. Maybe you think you're smart now because you're getting fucking jobs for way less than anyone should do them for. But when you progress and when you improve and when you get better gear, which is, it should happen, like you're going to get pissed off because you're not going to be able to fucking charge your price because people are used to fucking paying less. And then the next guy's going to come and he's going to do what you did. So again, this is a learning curve. You do it like once or twice at the beginning to get your foot in the door because you don't know any better. And you'll also, if you keep driving prices down, you're never going to be able to afford new gear. You're going to be stuck with the same fucking ghetto ass fucking setup the entire fucking time, man. And like my first harness cost me like $60, man. And although I did 150 jobs or so with that harness, my next harness, cost around $600, but it was worth every penny. It's a million times more fucking comfortable, and I can spend the entire day in the tree with it and the entire next day and next day if I want. It doesn't hurt my fucking ass or my back or my fucking nutsack. But there wasn't really a point in me starting out with it because I didn't, I tried like 10 different ones on before I bought my second one, but I wouldn't even have known what I wanted. But after using the fucking first one, then I kind of fucking, I learned and then I adapted. But, if you keep, and also, so when you're working too, that's the thing, you're in the tree and you're like struggling to do something and, you have a hard time maybe. And you think to yourself, it'd be easier if I had something to help me do whatever it is I'm doing. And that's your goal of the next thing you're going to buy. And you look it up and you find out how much it costs. And then, you really consider this on your next job. And then hopefully after your next job, you can go to the store and you can buy that thing and have money left over. And then, because you have a new device or a new working technique and it, you work seamlessly and you can save a lot of time, it gives you an edge on the competition. So therefore, it gives you an option of charging more money. Mr. Producer says, I'd rather take down a tree and get something I need than get some overinflated piece of paper. Yep, I agree. Hey, that's what they're doing, though, a boy named Gilroy. He says, can't inflate goods and services until they have no value anymore. So I'm reading the comments in reverse order, but they're still relevant. And so, to the main topic of today's video, was it where I usually advertise, with all the ghetto companies, and that's like that's how it is. You start there, then it's like minor farm leagues, and then when you can kind of afford to, you ditch them for better customers that want to pay and that can afford to pay. And, it's higher stakes because you usually have to do a better job. But if you do a good job anyway, then you have nothing to worry about. So a lot of this too, it's like a big, Well, it is a game, especially psychologically. And the thing is, though, I want it to be based on merit, and people are very susceptible to the same old shit. And I don't want to get customers the way that other guys get customers because I think that the way that a lot of other guys get customers is bullshit. And I think they hide behind either credentials or they'll say fully insured or insured up to $2 million, fully insured. But that's not fully insured. That's the minimum insurance amount. And like anyone with insurance knows this. Why? And why would you lead with this? If a customer asks you, like, are you insured? Yeah, sure. Up to like $2 million or whatever. Like but again, like I think that your ad or your work, it should speak for itself. Because anyone can fucking spend money and get insured. And it still doesn't mean you're not going to hit anything. It doesn't mean you do a good job. Like that's what the website is for. That's what word of mouth is for. That's what pictures and footage. That's what footage is for. And people haven't caught on to this yet, but they will because it's true for everything else. So why wouldn't it be true for this? And I don't know how soon it's going to happen, but eventually, if you don't have any footage of your work, like unless you have word of mouth, like Steve Thompson has, but that's essentially what it is, and like footage matters because if you don't have the fucking word of mouth to give you the fucking demand, that you've earned, then it's like a fail safe. It's always there. It's always fucking relevant, especially if you keep fucking updating it, and it just adds up. And even if it's two rules of being successful, basically, you work your ass off and like become like as good at what you do as you possibly can, and then you advertise. So, if things aren't working, it's because you're lacking in one of those two. Now, I'm not going to delude myself into thinking that my climbing game is perfect. My climbing game is always evolving and always changing. And I think that a lot of I don't know. I don't want to put it down to like a generational thing, but because like most of the climbers that I see, like on YouTube anyway, like they're pretty open-minded and their techniques change like a lot of the time. But some of them, they're very set in their ways, and it sucks because it's very self-limiting. Like for instance, if you spike up, like if you learn climbing like predominantly like spiking up and down trees like pine trees, like the West Coast style, you know, like a lot of those guys, like they can't be bothered to like rope thrust up a tree with no spurs on and like trim it, and swing around the canopy. Now, not all. Obviously, there's fucking tons of exceptions, but you can tell the way they fucking climb. If there's a tree with like fucking 3 or 4 stems, like they're not gonna fucking take it down. It's too much work because they're gonna have to fucking spike and flip line up and down every single fucking stem. And trimming, forget it because you're not supposed to wear spikes when you trim. I mean, you can sometimes. Here, you're like most cities around where I live, where I work, you're not allowed when you're trimming. And like they'll watch you for that shit. But I don't fucking care. I don't need spikes when I trim. I wore them like 3 times maybe in 3 years to trim a tree because it was fucking winter and there was a snowstorm while I was trimming that wasn't supposed to happen. And the entire tree was fucking iced over. And I thrusted up the first one, but everything was too wet and slippery. And the second one, I spiked up it. And oh yeah, and also because the fucking second one had 2 sets of fucking power lines going across it, and I had to climb over each set. And like, yeah, whatever, fuck. So not only did I have a safety line to thrust up, but I had a flip line and my spikes on. Fuck that, man. Like, fuck that. And I was doing a job for 2 neighbors. So it was one tree and another tree. And I did the first tree, and then I got into a fight with the customer right before doing the second one. So I was super fucking stressed out, man. And I just wanted to get it done and get paid and get the fuck out of there. So like, yeah, that's what happened with that. But yeah, so like, a lot of people, they get set in their ways, but for the most part, most of the climbers that I see, like they're open to trying a whole bunch of different techniques and, you find the way that works for you, and everything you do after that is just kind of an adjustment on that. And if you're too set in your ways, then you're just limiting yourself. But you also know the kind of jobs that you want to do and that you don't want to do. And if you have an abundance and demand of the jobs that you want to do and that you're willing to do, then there's no reason to step out of your comfort zone if you don't fucking feel like it. I don't have that luxury, but I like doing all sorts of jobs. Having said that, like I said before, I fucking hate picking up branches and doing dirty shit like fucking. This was like my bread and butter the first year, but like doing like yard cleanup and shit, like overgrown fucking. I don't know. Technically, it's a tree, I guess, but it's like more like invasive growth, growing at a 45-degree angle all around the yard. And you're basically cutting down weeds with a chainsaw, and then you're cutting it up and cutting it up and cutting it up and finding a fucking way to like either fit it in your chipper or fit it in your trailer and take it away. And like, the customer doesn't pay a lot because to them it's not hard. But you're there for like all fucking day, man. And there's bugs and vines and everything, like, or crab apples. Yeah. So now I know that it's not like hard or dangerous work really, but I don't like doing that work. I hate it. So if I get a fucking demand for it, I charge a lot. I give them like the fuck you price that I know they're never going to pay because I really don't want to do it. And then if they do say yes, then okay, at least I get like a lot of money for doing it because I really don't want to. I don't like doing that shit. And I can do it in a pinch, but I'm not ideally equipped to do that. Call a big company for that. Call a big company with like 12 employees with like one certified arborist somewhere that you never see, but is going to be like the front line of their fucking ad. They'll even have their certification number. That's another thing that fucking frustrates me, man. They advertise that, but if you advertise that and having a big enough company with like a big enough crew to do every job, and oh yeah, look at our number, we have it here. It's like, dude, man, you got 12 employees, all 12 should be fucking certified then. If that's going to be your selling point, but usually it's not that. Usually it's just the owner. Usually the owner just or he pays to fucking to take the course and then take the exam. And like, yeah, the exam is physical, but it's not impossible to fucking pass. Like you can look up what it is, if you want to find out what it is, So I'm going to read a couple of comments here. So I think an attempt at cashless dealing is intended soon. This is an ideal time for everyone to demand payment in silver and gold. In fact, anything but digital credit. I agree. That's why I've been against crypto since day one. The blockchain is the backbone of AI, and I'm telling you, it's really bad news. Of course, man. I agree completely. Or even if it's not okay, gold and silver is nice too because it does have a kind of universal value right now. But what I was trying to say in the last live stream that I had a hard time saying, I guess, was that essential services right now, other than food, like nothing, and maybe like electricity, very, very basic needs. But essential just means like you're a big company, like too big to fail. But what essential really means, other than surviving, it's subjective, man. It is. And, the fact that it's been dictated and it's not the same standard for everyone is what's fucking, it's what's really fundamentally unfair about it. So, in a true free market, any service pretty much or any good pretty much could be considered essential if you sell it fucking properly and if you sell it hard enough. So that's, how you sell it is up to you. But right now, the government sold these essential services as essential. Okay, yeah, sure. Grocery stores, good, keep them open. But anyway, there are ways around that also. And I don't mean stealing, but because if you want to trace the problem Hey, what's up, Mike? So if you want to trace the problem, back to where it began, it's bad even that we're dependent on grocery stores. It's bad that we're dependent on city life, most of us anyway, and on the electrical companies, to keep us warm and stuff. Like Mark and I sell fucking firewood like all winter. And this is the first time in in a few years, in 3 years. So it's not that long that we don't have a wood burning stove. But, for the past 2 years, we've had one before our year here. So it fucking kills us to have to fucking pay all this fucking money, like for nothing, and if we had our way, which we're still trying to have, we would be completely self sufficient. And then they could close down everything and it wouldn't fucking matter because we'd be right next to public land and we could do whatever we want. We could hunt and we could fish. And, if that's still legal, which, to a degree it is, then it doesn't matter if they close grocery stores. And yeah, what about the people that can't fucking fish or hunt? Well, it's like fucking drop dead then. Or get one of your friends to fucking catch fish for you. Like, it's like the argument, like, what about when old people die? Who's gonna take care of them if the government doesn't? I don't know, their kids, fuck. If they treated their kids properly, that's why you're supposed to raise your kids nicely and properly. Because they're the ones that are supposed to fucking take care of you when you die, and let the crazy fucking mother-in-law, live or father-in-law live in the fucking basement. I wouldn't ever fucking want that. Like, I'm never gonna get fucking married. That's why. But know, I wouldn't mind though. Fuck, way, way, way down the line. Fuck, but you know, like, anyway. So back on topic. I think just bartering is good too, because gold and silver, yeah, it has a kind of universal value. But what I was saying before is it essential is subjective. And if you're out of food and your neighbor has like plenty of food, but let's say bad example, let's say he needs fucking toilet paper and you have plenty of toilet paper. Well, the toilet paper is not essential to you, but the food is, and vice versa. So again, toilet paper is not essential. It's a fucking least essential thing. As long as you have running water, like, you can take care of that shit. Or rags or fucking whatever, man. It's so stupid. Again, it's like first world problems. And that's a really fucked up thing, is that in tough times, like, the standard of living is supposed to go down. And like all this shit right now, like, really think about it. Like, other than like our self quarantine, like, the standard of living has not gone down. Everything has been to maintain the fucking standard of living, which we have no business maintaining right now. Standard of living is poor right now. We're on lockdown. This is not good. Like, there's no point in pretending that this is the greatest time to be alive, because it's not. I'm happy I'm alive, just like any other day that I wake up. But just because the government decided to impose a bunch of restrictions on me, and what I should be grateful that they're not imposing more. Like, fuck that. This is already too many. And yeah, so what I wanted to complain about was that the big companies now, they're all showing up on my fucking ghetto ad space, and they all bought fucking their spot, and they all advertise the same fucking thing, man. That they have like 100 years of experience, and they have a giant crew, and they have full insurance for $2 million, and there's one certified arborist, and they have another ad. A lot of them in the other ad is for like, oh, we also do full landscaping. Oh, do you know we actually started as a landscaping company? It's like, yeah, and it's so misleading because there's like fucking 20 employees there, and they all fucking push lawnmowers, and it gives the customer the impression that, like, that they're all like, I don't know, like competition fucking climbers and stuff like that. And it sucks, man. And but like, whatever, because this is a free market. And I look at it as the other thing too, these companies didn't just start off, and if they did, it's through illegitimate means. meaning like, they didn't start. I don't know. I'll talk about that later. But they did something else their entire life, and they just fucking took a giant loan and spent a bunch of money and assembled a team and bought a bunch of equipment and then bought some fucking space. It's like, all right, let's go cut some trees down. And I have no respect for that. Like, again, because that's not like the lemonade stand mentality that I do respect, because this is someone that understands like how fucking business functions. And even if this person isn't me, if this person is my competition, they understand how competition works. And they understand that if, I don't know, I think the best competition is indirect competition. Like, if your peers, if you can sell yourself in doing what you do, not even necessarily better, but just different from the other guys, then you don't have to be better than the other guys. That's the beauty of it. And this is like in boxing. It's like if you go toe to toe with someone like way bigger than you. It's an inboxer that always boxes at close range. And you're not an inboxer. That's the last thing you want to do. You want them to play your game. But this isn't even that intense. This just means that, let's say there's somebody like bucking Billy Ray Smith that spikes up and down trees all fucking day and bucks giant fucking logs all fucking day. And there's someone like me that climbs fucking stick like pencils all day, like always tied in on top. And I'm not crazy about spiking. Like, I can do it. I do it on every fucking takedown. It's cool and everything, but I would never fucking like spike up a tree when I would have, a variety of other options to go up the same tree. It's my least fucking preferred method. I do it on the way down. So my point is, I like climbing with devices and with ropes, and I like hanging and stuff like that. And I like going from limb to limb. And I would never try to go toe to toe with like bucking Billy Ray Smith in his fucking element, when that element's not even fun for me. And even if it were, like, it'd be very hard to fucking get any business that way, unless you sell yourself as a lesser, cheaper service. But doing things my way, with my harebrained fucking schemes and setups, and like, what I, the way I think outside the box, because I think most arborists think outside the box, but I sell the customer on my style of work, and everything that basically separates you from the competition, and vice versa. Like, it could be seen as a weakness or a strength. The size of your company, for instance. Like, a big company isn't always better. It's rarely the case in this, because it's like for anything else. There's an optimum amount for efficiency, and that changes on every job. It changes depending on every situation. But usually, like, minimum is best, without having one person have to or any people have to work themselves to the bone too fucking hard. But less is almost always more. Also, if you have too big equipment, it's going to be hard for you to do any job except for suburban jobs with a lot of room on the street. And, like, my old boss used to do his estimates in a bucket truck, and he used to have a pickup truck that pulled a trailer that, like, the fucking dud branch bitch would fucking drive. And even though he'd been driving it for like 2 years, he didn't know how to fucking back it up and turn around. So they would always park it on the wrong side of the street, or you'd have to like go down the street and drive around the block to like face it in the right direction. Could never put it into the driveway. But that's because he's stupid. But imagine every single job you do having to bring that fucking bucket truck and having a driver and a pickup truck for the other trailer. And, you need more employees too. You don't just need two. Like, so there's that. And also, if you work in kind of more urban environment, like downtown, like, forget it. But there's very rare that you're going to do work like downtown. But, if you work in a slightly more urban environment, or, Um, doesn't even have to be a poorer environment. It just has to be a place with more fucking traffic or less space on the street. But you can't fucking do jobs. Even with a pickup truck and a trailer, a lot of places you won't be able to go. And it sucks because there's a lot of fucking good work to fucking be had at those places that you can't go. A lot of urban environments as well. Like there's a huge demand for tree work because no one can go there and you can charge what you want. And also, these places, a lot of the time, the city doesn't offer branch pickup. So again, you can charge what you want if you're willing to go there. But the fucking downside is that you can't park anywhere. And a lot of these houses, they have tiny fucking sloping driveways that are barely big enough for like a Hyundai Accent to fit in. And the streets are packed, 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 packed. So yeah, there are ways, but ideally, pruning jobs in those neighborhoods are the best. Branches over like swimming pools or like hitting houses or near power lines or phone lines or like whatever fuck. Those are the best where you can take, it's one or two problem fucking limbs that are high up or technical, hard to get, but that's why they call you. Less than a fucking pickup truck load of garbage that you have to take away, if any. Or, they have a friend that takes fucking firewood. So you buck up the logs and you stack them in the backyard. This is great. These are the fucking, honestly, these are the best jobs. These are the fucking best jobs. They're the most fun. And you're probably only getting called like for something fun in those areas because it's such a fucking pain in the ass for these people to call tree companies. So if there's anything else that they can do on their own, even though they're not self-sufficient, they try to do it. Fuck. So it's cool, man. Like it's like climbing every time. It's fun. But if your setup is too big, then you can't do these jobs. And okay, if you have a big setup, like you can do a lot of big fun jobs and stuff like that. But everyone else with a fucking giant setup that has way more money than you for equipment and everything like that, they already have the fucking market share for this. And you're competing with the little guys right now. And like when you level up, if you're going to level up this way, you're going to be competing with them. And they already have the fucking business. And now you're just going to have increased operation costs. And you're going to see it doesn't necessarily bring you in more customers. I said there was a bias sometimes, against kind of equipment and certification versus actual work itself. And while that may be true, that's not everybody. And that's just stupid customers. That's not the type of customers that you want. First, you want any type of customer that you can get. But, and in the end, maybe you do want stupid customers. I don't. I never wanted stupid customers. I wanted ones that fucking respected the work and that were hopefully businessmen of their own. Because I wanted to know what they were into, because guaranteed I would rather fucking buy said good or service from them than like pay the fucking chump retail price. And this way you can integrate horizontally. And this is one thing that people neglect. People have told me for 3 years that they want to help me in my business. And I'm like, okay, share my videos. And they're like, oh no, I don't mean that way. It's like, all right, well, okay, tell people, you have a friend that has a tree company, and if they need any tree work, then to give me a call. And right away they're like, oh, I don't know anyone. It's like, okay, well, tell the people that you know that if they know anyone, and you give them a bunch of cards, and they're like, well, no, I don't know anyone that knows anyone. It's like, dude, man, it's like, what do you want? Fuck. Like, I've gotten fucking business from like fucking 2 people I know. And these aren't even friends. Well, I consider them friends now, but these are people that I knew from high school that I hadn't seen in 20 years. And like they follow, one of them followed me on Instagram and he saw I did tree work and he asked me if I could like help him with some trees. And then he passed me on to like some another dude from high school. And again, these aren't people that I was like hanging out with every day. These aren't the people that I've been hanging out with 20 years since then. All those people, man, not one, man, not one fucking t-shirt sold, not one fucking job referred. And I would tell people the other thing too, I would tell people, and this goes for anyone, and this is a good strategy, even though I haven't found someone fucking smart enough to fucking take the bait. But, well, no, that's not true. I have, but I think they maybe forgot about the fucking deal I offered. But you can offer jobs to people, especially if you don't have fucking business coming in. If you do, like, you don't need to. And hear me out. The job that you offer is essentially a salesman, and it doesn't cost the fucking employee anything in terms of investment. And it's just saying that if they want to be your fucking agent and if they want to spread word of mouth about your company, if they refer you a fucking customer and that job goes through, then you give them a percentage. And you can work out whatever percentage between you guys. I think no more than 5%, but you can do 10 if you want, but 5% is very generous. But you explain this to them, and you explain to them that most jobs that you do, you know, on average are like, let's say $500, for like less than a day's work. And they don't have to quote the customer. They don't have to know how to do estimates. They don't have to know how to do any of that. They just have to know how to fucking talk about you. And they don't even have to lie, just give out your info. Just give out your info. Refer people to your website, to your fucking YouTube channel, give them your card, give them a couple of cards, tell them to spread the word. And, it's not a pyramid scheme. It's like a company fucking business model. And I've done this before with other stuff, not with tree work, and it actually works. And I had one dude, man, and he was like my main fucking salesman, man. He did like all the work for me. And, I gave him a cut every single fucking time. I gave him $200 every fucking sale he made. $200, $200, $200, $200. I wasn't even making that much. I was making 400 or 600 off every sale. And I was happy to give him half of what I would make, or, half the amount that I would get, because it guaranteed the fucking business would keep rolling. So yeah, if you help me, I'll take care of you, man. And like, we tried to negotiate the deal a little bit, but we found that was actually a good ratio. More than that, like it didn't make sense for all the work that I was doing. And less than that, it wasn't guaranteed to keep him happy, i.e. like he could get a similar deal somewhere else. So that was our sweet spot. But dude, you can do this, man. You can do this so easily. And especially if you know people that work in any sort of fucking market or industry where they deal with other people, they sell things, just where they have contact with people, even if you know someone that works in a fucking mall, and they could invest if they wanted to. And by invest, I mean, the sky is a fucking limit, but they wouldn't have to. And someone, let's say, especially that doesn't have a job already, like, how hungry are you, man? Like, you want to get me work by talking about my company? I'll give you fucking business cards, and you can hand them out and tell people to fucking mention your name. And if that job goes through, I'll give you 5% of every job that goes through where the customer fucking mentions your name. So you want the job to go through, and you want the job to be a big job. You want it to be a fucking $5,000 job, don't you? And you want to fucking get jobs from me all day. Like, so this is what you can do. And I've had this talk with people, and when we were talking about it, they're like, oh, yeah. And then the next day, it's like, yeah, where do they go? They go kiss the ring, and they go apply for some fucking minimum wage warehouse garbage. Or I actually had this fucking talk with an acquaintance of mine, several years ago when I started out, who, female, very attractive, and she was very good at fucking selling to people and shit like that. And she was on board, and she wanted to do it. But then she decided to go work in HR like every other fucking woman. It's like so much for that. And the reason too was that there were so many bad. I said HR is a fucking joke though, and she said, yeah, that's why. And she said, it's so bad, I want to change it from within. And that's the biggest fuck. I didn't say anything, but that's that. Yeah, we don't hang out anymore. But that's the biggest cop out too, when someone says that, because right away they're setting themselves up, whether they know it or not. They're setting themselves up to fucking fail, and they're saying that either way, it's okay to fucking fail, because that industry is broken. It's full of millions of people that are broke in the industry that are all fucking shitbags, and I'm gonna go there by myself, and I'm gonna try to make the situation right. But there's no fucking, if you fail, which you should, because the odds are a fucking billion to one, well, that's okay. The odds were against me in the first place. And then what do you do? So you either keep it real and fight and fail, or you just fucking capitulate, which is, what happens fucking all the fucking time. Fuck. And and even worse than that, like if the person actually fucking cared, then they would do something meaningful. It's like the talk that we had the other day about the government employee. Like the only good employee or the only good government employee is a type that tries to dissolve the government. And, why would you do that to your own fucking job? Unless you're only like getting in there for a year, knowing that, you're in there to fucking throw a wrench in the works and then get out. But it's like Ron Swanson on fucking Parks and Recreation, the fake libertarian, and he's a huge hypocrite. And he jokes that he wants to fucking dissolve the fucking government, but without that, like he'd be out of a fucking job. Like he needs his fucking paycheck every week, and he needs his pension. And and he hates taxes, but all the gold that he owns has been bought with the fucking taxpayers' money that pays his salary to do his nothing job that he avoids doing as much as possible. And but what he's fighting, like keeping it real, like fuck that, man. He kissed the ring, just like so many other fucking people. How's it going, CL? So these are ways. These are ways that you can use word of mouth, and for free. And you can incentivize people to work for you. And I know it works. That's how I met Mark. That's how I moved in with Mark. Because I offered this great deal to all my friends and none of them wanted to fucking take it. And they're all like, "Oh, it's too good to be true." And it's like, "Yep, you're right." That's how much, again, because it was an essential service for me. So I was willing to fucking pay a lot every time. And well, I don't know. And okay. And Mark's like, "Yo, I'll do it." It's like, "All right, dude, want to do it again, 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 again? Okay, you're my buddy." That's it. It's as simple as that. Like, you thought about calling around all those letting agents when all this lockdown business is done with? Not really. Like, it fucking sucks because they forced basically $2,000 a month on pretty much everybody here. And that's another thing too. People are so cheap right now. So this motherfucker that called me the other day for the branch pickup, and I told him $600, and he said 400. And then I said, "Okay, I said I could do it for 450. That's as low as I can go." And I have to fucking, it's storm damage, so I can take the tree down because that has to fucking go. But I should be leaving the fucking branches, you know? Technically I can even leave the tree. Let's stay there all fucking summer. But it came down during a storm, so if I like you and you pay my fucking price, then I can have that listed as a fucking essential service if I fucking feel like it. And while I'm there, because I'm smart and it's not going to take any extra time while I'm cutting up the stump, my associate, Mark, will be taking care of the branches while I'm there because we're already there. But we're under no obligation to do this because it's not essential. It's just while we're there. And we shouldn't be doing this unless the customer fucking wants to pay our fucking price. So this guy, man, he lowballs me from $600 down to $400, and I tell him 450, and he has a deal. And then he says he got a quote from another company for 400, but they can't do it because they're not working during the coronavirus. And I said, "Well, I am working, and $50 is a small price to pay." And then this is the kicker. He says, and they were going to charge me tax. It's like, dude, they're already charging you more than me. And this motherfucker, he still fucking complained. So I said, I'm not fucking, I'm not going fucking any lower than that. So like that's it. And I didn't hear from him again. I let him find someone else. Fuck. And the other thing too about charging more, everything is inflated right now. The price of everything is going to go up. So the price for the most dangerous job in the world, that goes up too. Fuck you, man. I'm not going to fucking be the only one to fucking suffer because of this. Fuck. So a boy named Gilroy, some of those places have hundreds of properties with tenants that can't do the slightest thing for themselves and just pay the agency to find someone. Well, yeah, I agree. Yeah, and they're clueless. Fuck. And they treat you like you're a fucking idiot because you know how to solve their problem. And they think also that your prices are regulated and everything. You know how many times, man, I've been on the way to do a job that I was on the fence about doing, and then the customer sends me a fucking message like while I'm early, and they're like, "Are you even coming today?" And I'm like 5 minutes away. I'm in my truck. I'm like half an hour early, and I'm like driving in traffic, and then like 2 seconds later, I get another text from them, and it's like question mark, question mark, question mark. Are you coming today? Question mark, question mark, question mark. It's like, not anymore, motherfucker. And I fucking send, block, turn around, fuck, like, go home. Yeah, fuck you, man. Fuck you. Yeah. Triple fucking question mark. Fucking text me. Fuck. Yo. Respect my fucking work, man. Respect anybody's work. Don't be a fucking prick, man. And beauty, unregulated market. Everyone should fucking act accordingly. People think that like you can't do this. No, you can. You can. Like, men, if they fuck with you, like let them know. Like, I'm not gonna fucking stand for this. And it's all subjective. It's like, dude, man, like I heard of a guy. I heard of a guy years ago. I mention him often, actually. And he used to tell he was in business for a while, and he had like his fucking set customer base. And he used to tell customers that when he would do his job, for them to fucking stay inside the house and for them never to fucking tell him how to do his job, not even to fucking talk to him or to question like his methods. And it's like, that's it. Just stay inside when I do it. And he would only get paid in advance, because he didn't want to fucking hear it. And he's like, I have other jobs to do. I don't want to fucking deal with you. You're just going to slow me down. You're going to annoy me, and you're going to make me second guess myself and waste my time and whatever. I don't have to fucking justify myself to you. Most professionals will tell you the same in any other industry. Like you don't fucking stand over the plumber's shoulder while he's working. You're like, oh, turn it that way. Okay, now do that one. Now that one. Oh, can you get? It's like, yo, dude, get the fuck away from me. Like, be gone. So yeah, stay the fuck away from me. And another customer was asking me what I thought about this. And my first year, I was like, oh, that's terrible. Like, I love talking to the customers. And my second year, I was like, yo, this guy's a fucking man. This guy's a fucking man. Also, my first year, I'd have a lot of customers tell me that another guy came to like do an estimate or something, and then he never fucking answered again, and he never like called them back or something. And they're like, oh, do you know why? Like, what a weird thing. I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And I really didn't know. But then after dealing with so many fuckers, man, like that fuck you over or that try to fuck you over, you see red flags. And you tell people all the time, sometimes like you just know the customer is going to be a fucking pain to deal with. So you try to get away from doing the job and you give them a fuck you price, a really high price. And they haggle and they haggle and they haggle. And like, you're like, no, 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 no. And then the price goes up. And for some reason, like they agree to your price, but you still don't want to do the job anyway because you don't, man. It's like there are a lot of reasons. It could be a difficult job, but usually it's always a customer because it doesn't matter how difficult the job is. If the price is right and the customer fucking stays out of my way, then I'll do fucking, any job that I can. The job that I fucking walked away from with the throw bag, fuck, we could have done it, but the price wasn't right. And I wanted $500 for the job. And the guy wanted to pay me 4. And I said, okay, for 4. And then I got 2/3 up the fucking tree and it was hollow and it started fucking shaking and shit. And I'm used to climbing thin trees almost exclusively, up in the canopy. And I kind of like it when they flex and bend because I'm used to it. Again, it's my element. But the thick trees, like thick trees with no canopy are not supposed to fucking do that. And okay, sometimes they do. If I did it all fucking day, if I climbed fucking 20 of those trees a day for like, years and years and years, then I would have been able to probably predict what would have happened better than I am now. But no, man, it's too big. I know. I know that when things do go wrong on a tree of that fucking diameter that I'm tied into, I can't fucking do shit if it fucking comes down and I'm tied into the part that comes down, or if I'm tied below it and it hits me. That's another reason I'm more comfortable in the fucking thin, fucking rickety canopy, because there's a lot of branches to hit on the way down, and the branches give a lot, and there's a lot of, you learn to really test the fucking stress of the tree, while you're in there, and you get a feel for it. And like by the time like you've taken it down, it's like you're sad because like you're having fun in it because you know it now, like inside out. Fuck. But the thick stuff, I know enough that if it breaks above or below me, I'm pretty much fucked. And it wasn't a super high fall either, but if I would fall on the ground while tied into the tree, chances are it's gonna fucking roll on part of me or land on part of me. And I've had that happen before. It fucking sucks. And I didn't want to have it happen again. And don't worry about me, man. I know I talk a lot of shit, but watch my videos. I'm okay, man. I take risks, but we all do, fuck. And it's not, I don't know. Some jobs are scary sometimes, but most are not. It's not you get used to it. So about the big fucking about, let's say if you have a big company, like it's hard to get into small places. And this matters because unless you're established and you have a constant demand, you're going to need to do those small places jobs. You're going to need to do all sorts of jobs at first because you want to find out what you like and what you're good at. And again, I thought at first that the only fucking time, I thought at first that the only climbing I wanted to do was spiking straight up pines. And I watched videos. I watched a video of like a Japanese guy years ago who was rigging branches near power lines, and he didn't have spikes on. And he was tied in from the top at like two tie-in points. And he had like little swivels on his harness, and I had no idea what he was doing. And I was like, oh, that's the gayest shit ever. I'm never going to do that. I'm going to climb like 500 foot tall poles, fuck, just on spikes. That's the real way. I hate doing that. I fucking hate it, man. It's like the least fucking fun way to climb. It's fucking slow. And the other reason I don't like going up on spikes, again, unless the tree's rickety, then it's fun. But I don't like going up on spikes because even though you're leaning back, you pretty much stay upright the whole time. And you remain what I like to call earthbound. So when you climb just off a rope, SRT, when you climb up the rope, like you're kind of earthbound too, but it's different because you go up so fucking fast. But when you climb like off a doubled rope, like with a spider jack or a friction knot or something like that, you're essentially walking up the tree. Like you lean back and you put your feet up against it, and your feet walk up as you pull the rope over the crutch, and the rope gets shorter and shorter and shorter the higher you go. And when you do this, you're horizontal and you're like looking up kind of. And when you go up this way, like you can go up really high, and even if you're afraid of heights, like the fear of heights doesn't really kick in because you don't know how high you're going. You don't look at the top of the tree. You look like a bit above you and a bit ahead of you, but you climb relatively fast, and it's more of a physical effort than spiking up. So you're more concerned with that. You're more concerned on like economy of movement and like breathing evenly and shit like that. And then you have no time to think of like the height or anything like that. And then when you get to your fucking working point or whatever, you're there and you earned it and it's cool and you can rest. SRT, you're looking straight, but you go up so fucking fast that before you know it, you're already at the top. And, when you're already at the top, it's like 95% of like the scariness is fucking gone. Even when you take the crown off and you're just on the pole, like it's not really scary. It's just like getting up there. It's like cumbersome if you have to do it the slow way. But spikes, like it's a slow fucking climb. And yeah, like you're always in a similar position, but I don't like it because you're always looking straight and you look down a lot. And I get fucking car sick and shit. And it's just a slow fucking climb and you're looking down the whole time. And like, I don't know, it's just boring. Fuck. Like I don't like it. So any other way, like I would prefer it. Now I can do it in a pinch, but just not my favorite. So like I was saying before, I don't like sell myself as like a guy that only fucking spikes trees and shit. And I did everything. And the thing I like to do the most is fucking, I like removals and stuff, but I like working in trees with big canopies where I have to be tied in or where I have the option of tying in on several different places. And I like swinging across the canopy, and I like throwing the hook and, I like using pulleys and advantages and stuff like that. And I like walking out on limbs and I like when the limb fucking bounces up and down and you're standing on it. It's fun. Like that's the type of shit that I like to do. That's the type, and I never would have known that if I would have just gone down a similar avenue. So at first, your setup is bare, but it's open to do any type of job. And then after you do every type of job, you realize the kind of best fit for you. So, my whole point again about like the big companies, it's not bad to become a big company if you get there on your own. Hey, what's up, man? So it's not bad to be like that if you get there on your own. But again, not all roads lead to like constant expansion. And if that is thanks, man. Fridge burner like a ninja with trees. Thanks. So again, you find your niche. And if your niche is that you want to do like big jobs, with like big, huge fucking trees, then you're probably going to need like some big gear, especially if you want to take the branches away and all the wood away and you want to do it like in a timely fashion. Because me and Mark doing a big, huge tree by ourselves and taking all the wood away, it takes fucking forever, man. So, like we know like what we're equipped to do. And again, it's different. If we had an option for, or if we had a contract to do a really big job, that like, paid us a lot of money that, the guy was like, okay with the fact that we would go there every day for like a month or something like that, to take down this massive tree or to trim it, then that's another story, but it would have to be a shitload of money. And again, we're not really suited to do jobs like that because another company to be better equipped could do it for a lot less, so whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that. Like, cause our ambition isn't to fucking like, we don't want to have a logging truck or anything like that. We'd like to have like a bigger work truck, but we don't want a crane. We don't want a bucket truck. If we were looking for a new work truck, like at an auction or something, and one of them happened to be a bucket truck and it was, a good deal or something, then maybe we would take it, but we don't have the demand for it. And the only jobs where we could have used one were in the backyard where it wouldn't have fit anyway. And so that's it. So like for us anyway, it's not worth it. At least not right now. I know Brush Life has one. Oscar. He's got, like I said, he's got fucking cool stuff, man. He's got a nice setup. But starting off with this stuff is pointless because you don't know where the market is going to take you. So you don't need to kind of invest in every possible fucking scenario. You just need to be equipped to do a little bit of everything. And that's what you explain to customers too. You say, this is, I've done this for X amount of time, but this is my first time doing everything on my own and managing my own business. So I've equipped myself to do a little bit of everything. And especially if you suck, If you suck and you're inexperienced, you don't tell the customers, oh, I'm doing a little bit of everything to find out what I'm good at. You say, I'm doing a little bit of everything to find out, what people need the most, where the demand is most, and they're like, oh, wow, what a nice young lad, like he's struggling through those hedges, just because customers fucking need their hedges done. So that's kind of how that's how I sold myself. So yeah, it's honest, but it's worded in such a way that you don't make your shortcomings out to be shortcomings. It's just like the small lean crew, especially right now. A small lean crew is key for whatever industry you're in. And especially, look, it's going to go one of two ways. They're going to end the work stoppage, and people are going to be able to go back to work, but, slowly and surely. Or they're going to keep the work stoppage indefinitely, or indefinitely, periodically longer and longer and longer. But either way, the only people that are going to be able to work legally or illegally are going to be companies or guys with lean crews, very small. Because, yeah, that's true. That's another good point. Yeah, another thing I don't understand. So wiry guys like us can climb like cats, good strength and low weight. That's another thing too. Like fucking fat arborist. Like, this guy sucks, man. It's like a fat fucking marathon runner. Like, how can that be? How can it be when I Google marathon runners, I get a fucking Google business ad for the fucking fattest one? Like it. So, like a boy named Gilroy said, some of those places have hundreds of properties with tenants that can't do the slightest thing for themselves and just pay the agency to find someone. And, that's true. So, it's not necessarily their fault, but a lot of people too, they don't want to take the time to scroll through like 2 or 3 ads. And, my whole thing with trying to get customers is instead of convincing the customer that they need me, or that like I'm the best, or that the other guys suck, even though I talk a lot of shit about the other guys, I don't want to convince them that I'm the only option. I want to fucking convince a customer that for this job, it should be up to their own judgment. And all I can do is give them an efficient way to be able to judge my work. And I can't fucking help it if the other guys have not done the same. Again, if they hide behind fucking, usually the experience is fucking fake, because what does that even mean? And only an idiot falls for it. Like, yeah, and I know, I guess it's better to market yourself towards idiots, but I don't understand. I don't understand like why you would do something that you love, but like search for like shitbag customers that don't appreciate it just because there are more of them. It's very easy to lose, to have something that you like lose its luster because of the way in which you're forced to do it. Like, I really like welding. It's not as fun as climbing trees, not even close. But when I welded at a place on a production line, it was terrible because you have to do it like a slave, fuck. And you have to do it so fast and so long, and like it takes all the fucking fun out of it. And there was I used to teach skiing also, which I loved to do, when I was 25. And again, I love to do it, and not just skiing. I love to teach, but they didn't give me, a choice on who I get to teach. Get the same type of fucking student all the time, and it took all the fun out of it. And I just over and over and over and over and over again, and doing it in the cold, being forced to do it, and your day is over, but they booked you for another lesson, and you want to go home because your fucking hands and feet are frozen and you're fucking pissed off, you're frustrated. And they tell you that you have another lesson and it's like another beginner and it's like a spoiled fucking brat. And you don't want to be there. And it takes the fun out of skiing. And yeah, like it's cool like when you go on your own, but again, you can't help but think like, yo, it used to be always like this, and I got to deal with this bullshit. It'd be much better if I could teach the type of student that I want to teach. And, if you're a lot of the time, if you're working for, someone else or another company or a mountain, something like that, like you don't get to negotiate any of this shit. And, I used to do lessons under the table sometimes, but I was scared to do it. And customers, like, they would want me to teach their kids that had lessons with me, but they would want me to give them like extra lessons on weekends. And a lot of the time, I didn't work weekends. I mean, I did my first year, I worked 7 days a week, and my second year was too much. I was cold all the time, so I only worked 5 days a week. And they would want me to teach the kids on the weekend. But, they didn't want to have to go through the ski school. But, lessons at the ski school were like $70 each. And I would get like $13 out of that. Fuck. Now I know ski schools like cost money to fucking run and stuff like that, but and it's like some bastard fucking kid, man, that's like whatever. Don't get me fucking started. But on the private lessons, the off the books lesson, if it was a kid I didn't like and their parents would ask me, I'd just say no. Or if I didn't like the parents, I'd say no. And if the price wasn't high enough, I'd say no. So I only got to teach kids that I really liked, and I would wear my regular gear, and no one could know that I was teaching a lesson. And I would charge the same. I could have charged even more, but I charged the same that the ski school would charge. And the customers were happy to pay it. And they're fucking. So, I had two brothers, and they were like, I don't know, like 9 and 10 years old or whatever. And then every fucking Saturday, I would give them a lesson, and we would go off jumps and shit like that for an hour. And like, you could like do this like at the ski school, but it was like really like regulated and stuff like that. And they weren't there like during the week for freestyle lessons. They were there with like a group for the school. So the group that I had, like, they were cool, but and we would always extend the lesson, we'd always extend it by like half an hour or an hour at the end of the day. And I would always do extra runs with them. And the parents would come sometimes and like, they would thank me. They'd give me like tips and shit like that. Sometimes the kids would draw pictures. That's less cool. I'd rather have money, but like whatever, fuck. And it it's cool, man, because they create the fucking, or you create a demand for yourself. There's nothing artificial about it. And these two brothers, I get paid $100 every weekend to like go off jumps with them and shit like that. And like, we would work on like their style in ways that like they wanted to improve, not ways that like the Canadian Ski Instructors Alliance said you had to ski and said you had to teach. Because a lot of that shit, like they would think it's ugly. They would want to know how to do other things. And it's like, cool, man, I'll show you. And I could have just done that. But every time I did that, and you're not supposed to do it if you're an employee, but you can do it if you're not an employee. And you make a lot of money, man. You make more money doing one fucking lesson than you do fucking teaching fucking for 10 hours. Because you don't make a lot of, you make fucking $11, $13 an hour. So, like, why the fuck not? But I didn't know that then. But like I said, it took all the fucking fun out of it. So I don't know why, especially like someone would pick tree work of all jobs to do if they weren't in it at like 100% and only wanted to take fucking crappy ass fucking customers. So that's where I was fucking going with all this. So John says, I'm driving around Daytona and nobody has face masks on. Well, I guess that's that. I didn't check. I didn't check if it was true. And maybe people don't know. Anybody sick lately? I haven't been sick, but I think I'm a carrier. I think Mark and I are both carriers, actually, because Mark works for the public. He's been going to work like every fucking day since this whole thing has fucking happened. And he touches money and everything like that. And, but doesn't mean anything has to happen now. Like, I never got swine flu until I got vaccinated for it, like over a year after it came out. So, who knows? But the economic shutdown is what worries me more. And these big guys too now that are advertising on the ghetto platform, like it frustrates me because the main reason they're there, I know a lot of the fucking companies now are not working because there's not enough demand for non for essential tree work, and it's risky. And they have a pretty big team. A lot of them, let's say like 5 employees or more. Like it's pretty big for tree work, believe it or not. And it's hard to justify. So if the demand is there, that's cool. But a lot of people they don't want that, and rather than take the risk of waiting until jobs that they can actually do come in, they'd rather just take the bailout. So they're not working right now, but they're working off the books and they're doing all sorts of jobs off the books, which is completely fucking stupid. Fuck. It doesn't matter. Anyway, it doesn't matter if you advertise on Google or on Kijiji. Like if you're advertising the same shit with like your bucket truck and your big team and your insurance, like, and you show up to do every job, like whether you got it on Google or on Kijiji, and you show up with 10 guys to collect cash because you're on EI or like whatever. It's like, man, it doesn't matter where you advertise. Like you're gonna make this, you're gonna get caught and you're gonna make this worse for the fucking rest of us. Like the only way it could possibly be good is that if it got saturated with like all the tree guys going out and doing all sorts of fucking tree work that they're not allowed to do. And then, the law just physically couldn't stop all of them. But you can say that about anything. And it's never happened. That's why anyone who revolts all the time gets fucking squashed because he has to go up against millions of people by himself. And other people say, oh, I'd help him out, but he's going to get squashed because he's by himself. It's like, yeah, exactly. Everyone has to fucking step in. And that's why, one against a million usually loses. Fuck. Doesn't mean the person's wrong for trying, though. So I used to think recently that these people were, muscling in on my fucking space because business was slow for them. But that's not really why. It's that if you're taking the fucking handout, then you're not supposed to be working right now. And a lot of these fucking customers on the smaller site, they want to pay cash or they want to pay with chickens and stuff like that. So that's the main reason, just because they want to claim fucking, they want to earn like unfucking taxable income right now on top of the fucking free helicopter money that they're all getting. Because, okay, the basic fucking package is $2,000 a month, but you can get a lot of other shit too if you apply for it. You can get a lot of loans in Canada. You can get a fucking, I think a $40,000 fucking small business loan like right now, and you only have to pay back 3/4 of it. I'm not fucking shitting you, man. This is real. I'm not doing that. Fuck you, fucking crazy. Fuck no. I'm trying to do jobs right now. I'm trying to get the price that I want right now. And people don't want to pay it, so I'm not doing those jobs. And I'm flexible, but I'll only fucking bend so much. So that's what I'm doing right now. And it just kind of frustrates me that I have some competition right now. And I think that's a dirty fucking trick because they're like stepping out of the fucking major leagues to come fight in the fucking minor leagues. Well, yeah, you fucking think, man? No shit. No shit, it's a fucking psyop. Even if there's no conspiracy, the economy is shut down. It's openly shut down. You can't work. You can't do anything. Like, everything. And people have to understand that it's not just the banks that are fractional reserve. Everything is fractional reserve. It's like what I said before about if all the tree work guys went out, like they couldn't stop all of us. But that would never happen. It's like if all the people in the bank, or if all the people withdrew their money from the banks would go out of business. It would never happen. Or, if all the people revolted against the fucking cops or something like that, for sure, it would never fucking happen. They're not even equipped to fucking handle fucking 10% of what's going on. And now everything's spread so thin. The fractional reserve, it's a 0% fuck. And quantitative easing is an infinity. In Canada, it's not an infinity. I think it's only at 4 now. But still, it doesn't matter. It's big difference. Fuck. Our bailout package is bigger than the bailout package in the States right now, I think. And I don't even know. I think it's bigger gross, not even per capita. Per capita is definitely bigger, but I think like just in terms of dollar amount, like I think our government is spending more money to bail out our fucking country that's 1/10 the size of yours. And I say yours, I think like fucking I think 75% of my subscribers are American. 4% are from Canada, my own country. And I have a lot in England and in the UK and the rest, like a few other places. That's funny though. Only 4% of people that watch my videos are in my own country. And we're a fucking big country. Canada's cucked. Hey, we have a celebrity in the house. Liking theories here. How's it going, Jamie? Forever in history now. Let it be known that Jamie came to my channel. Jamie's got a good channel about philosophy and commentary. Check it out if you're unfamiliar with him. I've been following his work for a couple of years. He's always been cool with me. And yeah, so check it out. Yeah, Canada's shit, man. Rest in peace. Are you selling t-shirts right now, by the way? Yeah, Jamie's got a t-shirt shop also. That's funny too, because we're talking about my failed t-shirt business before. And one of the reasons it failed was because I made the mistake of marketing it to people I know. But the other reason it failed was that although I believe my designs are mildly funny and entertaining, like the artwork isn't what fucking sells my shit. I can't even fucking draw, man. It's just like the funny slogans, but I would print and draw everything myself. And I have my own like printing press, and everything like that. And it's cool. It makes like nice stuff. And a lot of my shit would glow in the dark. But, like it takes a long time to make. And I like making it though. I like pulling the fucking screen off the t-shirt and seeing, how the ink turned out after. And I like doing all that stuff. And the thing is though, I can't fucking compete with like $10 t-shirts. And even for $20, I don't want to sell a t-shirt for $20. If I'm like tie-dyeing a t-shirt and I'm buying like Carney fucking quality tie-dye, which is the shit that carnies use to fucking sell shirts at carnivals that like don't fucking, it sounds stupid, but actually like this is the best fucking tie-dye. It's activated with soda ash, and it's the type that they sell at like concerts and shit like that never fucking fades. And it's bright, 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 vivid colors. And you can wash it like a million times, fuck. And, it stays fucking fresh. And, I would make tie-dye shirts like this. And I bought glow-in-the-dark ink also. Nice glow-in-the-dark ink. And I would buy nice ink also. Ink that was guaranteed not to fucking peel or scratch or fade. And look, I've done all this shit with like cheaper products. It can be done. But I would also pick fucking nice t-shirts too that like were fucking soft. So I like the cotton polyester blend. So it costs a little bit more than the cheap fucking dollar t-shirts that everyone tells me I have to have, like the Hanes Ultra Weight or whatever. And so it just means that for the way that I wanted to make my t-shirts, I had to sell them for a lot of money. So, I would sell them for like $30 or so, which isn't that much, but people were not willing to pay it. People didn't even want to pay $20. And at $20, I'm like doing all that fucking work, man. It's not worth it. It's like more of a fucking slap in the face than anything else. And a lot of the time, these fuckers never even had fucking $20. Fuck. Okay. So thanks for giving your 2 cents about this, Jamie, because it actually matters for people that are fucking considering it. I could take my ideas to Teespring maybe, or like T Republic or something, but I would have to up my fucking artwork. That's a good point also. I've learned that a shirt has to have optimum relatability to get sales, and it doesn't need to look amazing either. I know that's why I made fucking skate park rapist because it's it's literally a t-shirt that the whole family can enjoy. And you know, it's not it doesn't offend anyone. It's not political. And pretty much yeah, and you asked if this was my first stream by the way. No, it's like I don't know, maybe my 20th or so. Um, I did a couple lately this week, but I used to do more in the summer. But yeah, yo, you should make a coronavirus shirt. And another thing too that I wanted to ask, you know the Under Armour like micro fucking fiber t-shirts or whatever, or like dry fit t-shirts like that. Like, do you have the option of printing shirts on that on the websites that you use? Because those are the shirts that Mark and I wear for work. And we wanted to make our own fucking company logo shirts, at least for us. But it's tough fucking printing on that shit. And I know maybe you don't know personally how to print it on that, but maybe on the websites that you use to make your products for you, maybe they give an option because that's something I'd be interested in. Because I have one. Hold on a sec. So I have one work shirt here. Well, it's what I use for work, but it's like a dry fit shirt, and it's just a Quicksilver shirt, but it's stretchy material, and it's like fucking sweat proof, and it dries fast. And the logo on it, the logo, it's like rubberized fuck, and it's like fucking on there, like it's just starting to crack, like in the middle bit, like a tiny bit here. But this is after wearing it for a year. But you can't print with like regular ink on this shit because it just fucking seeps through. So that's another thing like I'd like to do. I don't think I'm I don't know. I don't know about making money off it. I would like to. I think yeah. But that's another thing too, Jamie. Jamie says may have to try a specialty site. That's true. But you know, like it frustrates me because the only reason I would have to work through any of these sites is to be able to offer t-shirts at a lower price than the price I want to fucking get for them. And yeah, I know it's a lot less work, but I like doing the work. I like fucking, ripping off some fucking meme on the internet and then tracing it and butchering it essentially and then printing it onto my own fucking shit. Like I did that for fucking well, it's like how I made my avatar and stuff like that. Fuck. I took a skateboarder and I took Pepe's fucking face and I superimposed it and then I put another layer on top of that and I traced over it and I deleted the layer underneath and like that's how I made so many of my shit. Like I made a lot of like t-shirts of politicians and shit. Like I made Trump shirts and shit like that and like I did the same thing. I did like a negative stencil effect. I have one of Trudeau that says fucking retard on it. I have one of Tucker Carlson. I have two of Nigel Farage, but I ran out of t-shirts, so the only ones I made were small. Like I should make a video. I think I made one like 4 years ago, but I should make another video and walk you through my fucking Bridge Burners MFG website that's down right now in stasis because of my Instagram battle from like 3 years ago from Skate Park Rapist when one of my friends was wearing the shirt in the street and someone took a picture of him and posted on Instagram and then some SJW bitch fucking flagged it and it got traced back to me and they tried to shut down my account. Yeah, I made YouTube videos about this, man. I was reading mean comments for an hour and a half. They're pretty funny, but it sucks too because I thought it was like a golden opportunity to like meme and stuff like that. and no one fucking fought with me. I was just fighting by myself. And everyone that thought like the clothes were so cool and stuff like that, as soon as like I got heat brought on me for them, no one wanted anything to do with them. And all my friends asked me if I could untag them from anything I'd ever tagged them in because, it's all well and good to poke fun, but no one wanted any of their reputations possibly hurt. And it just made me show it. Well, it just made me realize how gay everyone I knew was. And it sucks, man. So again, like right now, yeah, it's probably a good idea. I should maybe even if I upload the designs I already have onto one of those sites. But it's strange too because not really, because this business now that I have, the tree business, it's the first business I've had that's like really, really like, self-sustaining and growing. And it's funny because, I didn't market it towards my friends. I kept them out of the loop. When I was kind of like established already, I like gave them like my info, but nobody fucking shared shit. Yeah. Boy named Gilroy. Funny how these people always tirelessly defend actual rapists and don't see the irony. Yeah, and it's just, like when I made that t-shirt at first, like I just thought it was funny because of the double meaning. But when people started to like get triggered, people would like defend me, but they defend me like not in the way that I wanted. They defend me like, oh, I'm sure he didn't mean it like that. And it's like, no, I mean it like whichever way offends you is the way that I mean it. Like it could mean a really good skateboarder, or it could mean like the guy with the gimp mask with the zipper hiding in the bushes of the skate park. And Treetop Rapist is fucking next as a playlist. But like we even found fucking high visibility fucking rape masks at a hardware store that's fucking closed down now until further notice. But there's high visibility yellow and high visibility orange. So I think that'd be funny to have a Treetop Rapists fucking playlist or even name of a company. Like, but we'll see. Hey, Charles F. Gray's here also. On Jamie, you had one real skirmish with an amateur t-shirt designer in the first year. Yeah, what happened? Do tell. And Charles asks, what are your 1 year in the future predictions about the economy related to coronavirus, economical effects, and the government's reaction to it? I thought I'm not crazy about the government's reaction to it. I think it's all wrong. I think all their predictions have been all wrong so far. I know it's a very general statement, but I've, gone into like, not great detail, but substantial detail. You saw a stream a couple of days ago. So, yeah, you know what I mean? And look, I see it going, yeah, one of two ways. I think this is all, even whether they know it or not. Okay, like this is the whole thing. And this is a very important point, I think. Is it whether the government is planning maliciously in like bold fucking letter headings to take all our rights away, or whether it just happens to happen, because of like a series of like random unrelated events, and here we find ourselves. Like obviously the first one's worse, but it doesn't matter because our rights are still gone. So what does the intent matter? And like the intent is bad. The intent is very bad. And I think that people are missing the point of the bailouts. And it's not a conspiracy theory. It's even on the government website. The bailout is not for the common man. It's for the banks and it's for creditors. And it's not even propping up a failed business, because these businesses weren't given a chance to fail. They're told you must close down. And, a lot of like capitalists and libertarians out there, and I consider myself among them, not for this reason, because I disagree with this, but, I think it's wrong to fucking prop up a failed business. Obviously, it's like, or a failed person, you're just enabling them. But there's a difference between the business failing on its own and the business being forced to shut down and resort to either kissing the ring or working illegally somehow, or, finding a legal loophole. But pretty much if you want to work right now, you have to find a legal loophole, and even if that means doing it illegally. Look, man, if you do like renovation work or something like that, or anything, even if you do tree work like me, if they make most things banned, even if there's a ban on like essential services or whatever, like, again, if you still wanted to, you could still really do jobs at people's houses, but you would have to get them to play ball. Like, you're not there working if anyone asks. Or you're there as a friend or something and you're helping out, or you live there or whatever. Fuck. Yeah, okay. There's ways to verify all of this, but there's also ways not to get caught. So, if you're going to fix someone's sink and you have like a plumbing van with like a big fucking sticker on the side and you're not allowed to do shit like that, then you don't show up in your fucking van. You show up in a fucking car. And you don't like give your card out to all the neighbors saying that you're doing this, even if they know that you might be doing this, well, whatever, fuck, as long as like a transaction isn't taking place, because that's the real fucking crime here. The real crime is not going out and doing stuff. The real crime is earning fucking income now that the government's not going to get a piece of. And also, especially since they force this fucking bailout on everybody, like, it gives all the more reason for them to stress the importance of not working right now if you're not supposed to be working, because it's dishonest and because we already flooded the economy with all this money. I think, Charles, what I would like to happen, I would like the banks to fucking dissolve and for the economy to collapse. And I would like for us to go back to the barter system. I would like this to happen like before winter fucking happens. But I really don't think it's going to go that way. I think it's going to be like in 2008 when the fucking housing bubble crashed. And instead of letting people take their medicine, they bailed out the banks again. And 12 years later, here we are right now. I mean, I believe that the coronavirus is a virus. I even believe that, it could be more aggressive than the actual flu. But so far, the cure is way, way, way worse than the disease. A million times worse. So who knows? In all of your experience, everyone in the chat here, in hard times or in good times, when have you ever known the government to rein back to step away from the reins, and give slack? And say, we've overreached too much. We should let the market regulate itself. Charles, I think, next to a market crash and everything righting itself, and I say I want that because otherwise we're going to live in this fucking state of hyperinflation until it fucking happens. But it sucks though, because like the ultimate kind of final solution, I think, is that. I think, yeah, Jamie, you're right. But that's the whole beauty of it. That's the whole. And once you get rolling, it's not that bad. Like, it sounds really stupid, like, to say it, but it's a fucking, not only a thrill, but a fucking skill to have. Because theoretically, there's only a finite amount of money in a community, let's say. Like, it should be a country, but say like an isolated, gated community, with a finite amount of money in it, even if it's a lot of money. Like, wealth is not built by everyone just accumulating more and more and more money. Wealth is built by that money circulating and being exchanged for goods and services that one person might need on one day, but not on the same day as someone else. And, who can make out with the nicest setup and still have a little bit of money left to circulate is doing well. But an economy is a living, breathing thing. It's not always like, look, I know there are, but there's no point, I think, in kind of looking for a get rich quick scheme. And I'm not the first one to speculate that, the entire fucking economy is kind of built on that. It's built on the principle of being able to cut through and not have to take your beats. And you can skip a lot of the steps. And if you just invest right and listen to the right people, then you don't have to do ABC. The poor old fucking Tony had to do. Yeah, I hope so. I hope so, because the dollar now, I think we need to hold on to the dollar as a currency right now, just to push back against paperless currency. But I don't think the dollar is worth anything. I just don't want paperless currency. But you're right. Once it gets to that point, people are going to have no choice, because some people are going to oppose it, but a lot of people also are not going to be able to do it, because, they have like a criminal record, or they just don't want to. And, or they've defaulted, or they've dissented in some fucking way. So they get punished. And like, what? Are these people going to flood the fucking, they're going to have to build penal colonies? Like, no, these people are going to have to think of other ways to get things done. And, right now, I don't think, I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid that people are not making any sort of preparations. Even if you're not doing the right thing, and sure, this is bad advice, because no one knows really what the right thing is now. Like, you can listen to people that you trust, and I hope you trust them for a good reason, because of your judgment. And the people that I sort of trust, because they've been right on many other matters, I mean, they're all pretty much saying the same thing. They predict that things are supposed to be bad, but that the Fed and the government, they're essentially the same thing right now, but they're going to do as much as they can to double down. And oh, for sure. For sure. I'm not an old society guy, though. I'm a fucking frontier guy. I want to be left alone. I think everyone should be left alone. And I think everything should be voluntary. But yes, my way, a lot of people would die. And that's the part that, people don't want to accept. And trying to keep everybody alive, you just can't. Trying to keep the housing market high all the time, even when it's supposed to go up and down. It's like trying to keep every market high. It can't. You can't. How can you? Why would you? What does that even mean? Like, what good comes of it? Like, how could that be worth anything? In a post-COVID economy, will there be employment for Coach Eli as a life coach, or will he have to return to working in the corporate world at Costco? Eli worked at Costco. This guy has 4,000 subs right now, man. Like, what the fuck, man? How is that possible? Hedy Lukil, if that's how you pronounce your name, he's got to go. All right, man. Thanks for stopping by. Take it easy, man. I'm just reading some comments here. Yeah. Well, frontier is basically the absence of society. Same difference. Yeah, exactly. Oh, I agree. That's my utopia. Not for everybody, just for me. Even if it means I just have to buy a big plot of land and pretend that I have no neighbors, that's what I'm going to do. People do it all the time. But other people can fucking do the same thing. And we can get it for cheaper if we live fucking next to each other. Imagine you could be my neighbor 5 miles next door down the road. Won't be very convenient when the banks stop/limit their services like they did in Greece, Argentina, and a bunch of other countries that drove most of their population into poverty. Eli worked at Costco. I know a lot of people that worked at Costco. They this is on like an unrelated note, but yeah, I could see him. I could see him working at Costco. I could see him being a box boy. Do you think Bitcoin is like a safe investment right now, Jamie? And do you have a substantial amount invested in it? Because if I had, anything invested in it, I would want it, not only would I want it to work, and I'm not saying it's wishful thinking, I mean, but I would want it, I'd want to learn to fucking leverage it as much as I could. Actually, that's another thing too. I think maybe not necessarily. Yeah, that I agree with too. Nothing is a safe investment. But if you understand like the basic fucking concept of leverage, then I think you understand a lot about like what's happening right now. And to the point where your survival above the level of like basic needs that the government has provided, because that's essentially what they've done right now. But if you don't understand like leverage, then good luck getting something more than, what your neighbor is getting. Okay, cool. I was reading your comment, Jamie. Yeah. When's that Lycan coin coming out? Oh, dude, I gotta ask, man. I gotta ask. When when you had that fucking stream, and Angry MGTOW came on, and you guys were like cool with each other, and then he fucking turned on you like the next day. Like, what the fuck happened, man? Because I got it when he showed up, man. I was so happy. I hadn't heard this guy's lisp in like fucking 3 years, man. And I don't know. This fucking the first thing you asked him was how that fucking red pill coin was doing. And then again, like I checked his channel like a few days later, and he had like fucking a bunch of fucking videos about how much he fucking hated you. I think it was funny. Anyway, yeah, off topic. But okay. That's cool though. That's good. Look, even if you have a few thousand invested in Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin is not the best currency, again, you still have a few $1,000s in liquidity, like for the moment, like whatever you choose to do with it. One of the things I don't like about that, I like the convenience of it, and I bought into digital everything when I got this. Well, pretty much big surprise, when I got my iPhone. And then I synced it up with my first MacBook, and I bought my second fucking iMac, and then everything was synced up and everything was up to date. And all my credit cards and all my bank statements, like I had the app for everything, and everything was all synced, and it was fucking perfect and clean. And I like that stuff. It was okay when I was like, I don't know, when I was working for like, a big company before it closed down, and I thought I didn't have any worries. And right now, like I've been pretty much reduced to the barter system. Not like now, even though like kind of now, but before I started my business, I had no money. I had nothing. Fuck. I have fuck all, man. I just had like a hope and a fucking prayer. And I said a couple of days ago, it was like throwing a fucking Hail Mary with no one to catch it. And like you have to run and catch it yourself. It's not true because Mark was there to catch it. Fuck. And that's it. And then I ran, and then he threw the next one, and like that's it. So like we learned that way. So and all the jobs we did were cash, except for sometimes you get some dipshit that fucking pays you with a check. And it's cool because we bought all our equipment without access to any credit or anything like that was taken away. So yeah, I know it's my own fault that I don't use digital currency right now. I've learned to survive without it, but and I probably make a bit too much now to like not have to declare it. So I just don't like it. I don't like the notion of everything being trackable. And for me anyway, I was pretty good with credit, but like I would always pay back the entire balance every month. But I'm very aware of the dangers of it. And I've had a lot of stuff fucking, happen to me. Some stuff I brought on myself, but some stuff was kind of beyond my control. And I made my choice and I chose to live with it. So I have no problem, doing most things in my life off the books. Like I'm confident enough in my ability that I know that I have necessary, skills to trade for more than enough. So the question is always, 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 always just finding the right niche of fucking customers. So that's, again, that's what I'm trying to do now. Um, true work is like ho hum right now, but it doesn't mean I can't resurrect or refine old business ideas. Hence the t-shirts. Yeah, and life coaching. If I could own land, I'm gonna put that comment up, Charles, because I think it's really good. As soon as it shows up here, yeah. Seriously though, diversification of wealth and income is ideal. Basically, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Owning land is good. Dating BPD women is not good. Yep, I agree. And that's the goal. The goal is to own land out of all of this. That's always been, any like not even original subscribers, but Charles knows this because he's been, we've been friendly for a couple of years now. But Mark and I have been planning to get our own property for a couple of years now, and it's not the dream that never happens. It's like we've taken several steps towards it, but we made mistakes also and had to take several steps back as a result of those mistakes. But that's still ever our goal, and now more than ever. I mean, all I can do about what's going to happen in society is speculate. And you could call it taking educated guesses or, looking at what's happened every single time in history. This is just a more intense version of something that's unprecedented. And the fact that all our rights have all been but stripped now for nothing. I mean, it can happen again for nothing. Like, so that's kind of what scares me. And, when I talk about having like the economy crash, like again, I'm theorizing, on a macroeconomic scale. But more realistically, like instead of trying to change all of that, like the best thing I can do is just not pay into it. And not lie to people and not kiss the ring. Like the best thing I can do, the best thing any of you guys can do, I think, is, live for yourselves by your own terms, however that may be. And if your dream is to be self-sufficient, like 100% like me, then go do that. And for me, anyway, that solves a lot of problems. That solves my fucking problems of pretty much everything. I don't got to worry about shit if I do that. And yeah, I don't want to be so far away that I have to travel, let's say, 10 hours to go to civilization. But if that's the case, like, then I would make do with that. It wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd like to be kind of close by because I still like doing what I do. I'd like to be able to fucking do it. Um, I'd still like to be able to do tree work, but if you buy fucking property and you buy it and you own it, you don't have $2,000 to pay every month. You don't have anything to pay every month, well, you can do whatever the fuck you want, and you don't need to work 5 days a week. It really changes everything. Changes everything that you thought you needed before. Yeah, owning land is possible in the province I'm in. It does take time and planning and focus. That's true. And in Ontario, it's good too. Um, Ontario, the land rights are a little bit better, I find, but all the other rights suck. Be right back. Talk amongst yourselves. And actually, like probably a lot of people don't know this. A lot of the non-Canadian viewers here, they don't know this, but where I live in Quebec, Quebec is a separatist state. Like basically, it has been for almost 50 years now, pretty much officially, and they've basically, for the most part, always wanted to separate into a federal Marxist separatist state, uh, backed by Canada's military and Canada's Federal Reserve, but untouched by Canada's government. And I say Marxist state because there was a group called the FLQ, the Federation for the Liberation of Quebec, and you can openly like look this stuff up. It's all there, but nobody fucking cares because Quebec is nothing. Like we don't produce a lot in terms of the Canadian economy. The federal government actually has to bail out Quebec because Quebec does not produce as much as it consumes. So sad but true. But yeah, they've wanted to separate because they hate English people. And when Canada got colonized, one of the big versions of it that we hear is English versus French, or English versus French versus the Indians. Feather, not dot. And in Quebec, we learned that the English were evil and that the English lost. And everywhere else in Canada, like they learned the truth. The French couldn't fucking compete with the English, so we got banished to the fucking far corner of the fucking country. And Canada lets us live here, just like Canada used to let the fucking Indians live there. But just like the Indians have their territory, well, actually, they got it recently. It's like fucking half of the fucking country geographically. But yeah, Quebec, we have our own little fucking corner. And Quebec has always wanted to oh, has always wanted to separate because they don't consider themselves part of the fucking country. And they're big on redistribution of wealth, by the way. And as long as Canada redistributes it. So there's like an ongoing thing about English versus French in Quebec. And I know this because most of my friends growing up were peppers. And pepper is like what you call a Frenchman here. It's a fucking racial slur. Or you call them Pepsi because they drink Pepsi because it's cheaper than Coke. Yeah. So yeah, there's a little feather in your cap, in case you're ever arguing with one, you can call them that. And yeah, that's just the way things are. And even though like we jibe at each other, like French and English, like for the most part, like, to me, it doesn't matter. But a lot of people are going to agree with someone of the enemy race, let's call it. But because you're part of the enemy race, like, we can never be on the same side. So I used to have this conversation a lot when I was with my friends when I was a kid. And sometimes I eat supper at their house or vice versa. And we talk about like whatever fuck. It could literally be anything, but a lot of the time it'd be about language laws or something because we have language laws here. Our business name has to be in French, and our business advertising has to be in French. And if there's English writing, it has to be half the size or smaller than the French writing. And there's all this gay shit that you need to comply with. A lot of other stuff too to consider if you have a business in Quebec and you want to register it. Like, do you want to go through all this trouble? And why do you want to go through all this trouble? What's it worth to you? Like physically, I don't mean like inside your head or like whatever, but like, what is it going to physically give to you? Are you going to get more customers? Are you going to get better customers? Are you going to make money off it? Or is it just going to cost you money and red tape and restriction? There's a lot of the time too, like you want to do it by the book. You do it because you think it's going to open a lot of doors for you, but you realize that although that may seem to be the case, like these doors are going to have very small entrances now. And you have a lot less freedom now because you have to fucking confine yourself to the rules in said book. of regulation because you're part of the fucking guild now. You're part of the union. You're part of this. You're certified now. You have to do what they fucking say. You pay money to do what they say. So they give you a fucking badge. So you can supposedly do what you want when all you need to do what you want is nothing. You just go fucking do it and don't get caught. And yeah, it's that simple. No society, Jamie, if you're still here. Yeah, like so yeah, we would love to fucking we would love to have land. We would love it. And right now even it kind of fucking sucks because everything is on standby right now. But like I said before, if you're just thinking of a way to not only, survive through this, but come out a little bit better than everyone else that's just waiting for things to start back up again. Because even if, I think it's unlikely that what's supposed to happen will happen right away. There's going to be a lot of bluffing and doubling down and probably even another bailout because we're offering $2,000 a month for entrepreneurs, which basically means any Canadian fucking citizen. And that's for 4 months so far, but it might be extended to 6. And it's combined with a whole bunch of other shit. And look, even if the economy doesn't like physically like explode and it's not like mass pandemonium, like inflation is already in place. And there's no other way that this can go down. Like things can't not be inflated now. Everyone has all this extra money and there are no. Yeah, exactly. Like, there's no other way for it to happen other than there being inflation. There's no goods and services being produced and the economy is fucking flooded with fucking freshly printed cash they're giving to everybody now. Like that's the definition of it. And this is even if like whatever they bullshit us with now, they can only hold off for so long, but eventually prices for everything are going to go up. Look for Jamie, fuck. Yeah, that's because you're a lazy motherfucker. I like your t-shirt. It says we already built it. I saw some girl on fucking Tinder that had, the fucking feminist thing, like, or like we did it or whatever, fuck. The stupid fucking motto. And it had a hole and she stuck her head through it. Ugh. It's so brutal, fuck. What a turn off. How much are you getting cash over there where you are? What's the bailout in the States? It's like $1,200 or something. I bet you wish you lived in socialist Canada right now. $2,000 a month in toilet paper, plus a loan for all the toilet paper you want. The other hypothetical too is it if everything stays closed, and the Canadian government is encouraging people to save the money that they've been given, like parts of it they can save. Because technically it's just supposed to pass like from your hand to like your landlord's hand. So it can pass from his hand to the bank's hand, even though there's a moratorium on that for 6 months. But still, we have to maintain the standard of living. But they're encouraging people, the government is encouraging people to save off the top. But it's like, no shit, man. People are going to spend it on stupid shit first. They're just going to keep using it to make the minimum payments. And why not give $4,000 a month or $10,000 a month? Like, like, because 2,000, it's a lot, fuck. Plus a $40,000 loan, like that you only have to pay back 3/4 of. And get this, everyone here qualifies automatically for the $2,000 bailout because if you don't qualify, they check that after, and you have to pay it back during income tax. Do you know how many people are working right now and they're taking it anyway? Some people are working right now. They didn't even apply for it and they got it. And they're going to have to pay it back during fucking income tax. They're going to have to give back like $8,000 during income tax. Do you think they're going to let the money sit in their bank account until June? Or like, spend it and then earn it back and then pay it back on time? Do you think that's going to happen? It's not going to fucking happen. And maybe some people will, but I don't, how, does it ever? No, people are fucking greedy, fuck. And that's what brought me to the point of like the other fucking huge companies fucking trying to steal my customers on my fucking ghetto site. It's like, you already took the bailout. You're paid right now to not work. I want to work. I like working. Working, like, my job's fun. I like doing it. Fuck. Like, I can't control everything, but I'm trying as hard as I can, to at least let customers know that I'm available to do certain types of shit. And if I have to do something different, to get what I want to get, which is fucking money, or, not even, look, man, I would barter. If someone wanted to trade me fucking property for tree work, I'd do that. If they wanted to trade me a truck for tree work, I'd do that. I say it all the time, fuck. Like, I'd be too fucking happy. Like, cash is fine. I don't have a problem with cash. But, even digital currency, like, I don't have a problem, like, with having it as an option. I just don't want it to be fucking mandatory. Because it's not backed against anything. And again, if it's mandatory, what's the fucking difference? It's like universal basic income. The reason why this shit, like, the worst part probably about the bailout is that not everyone's going to get it. Because if everyone got it, it would be fucking meaningless. It'd just be the new zero. But not everyone gets it. And I'm not saying it's not fair for the people that don't get it. Like, it's just an idiotic fucking plan. Things are closed. And things essentially, like, are free, like with creditors. You have to fucking wipe out debt. Yeah, it did go out of style. It's not stylish to barter. Barter is for lesser men. But see, in the good old days, Jamie, is that if you liked a girl, you could just go to her father and then swap her for 16 gallons of insecticide. That's the barter system. Those are the good old days. See the Borat movie to learn all about that. Yo, I've seen fucking shitty grass, Jamie. I don't say that, like, look, I pretty much live, job to job. Right now it's fucking slow, but it's slow anyway. It would be slow even if it weren't the shutdown. Like, the season, like, just like kind of like started for me, but usually May, like, kicks. So yeah, very nice. How much? So yeah, I usually live job to job. Like, but when the season is, like, not even super busy, just when it gets started, I have several jobs ahead of me and it's nice. It's cool. It's like, it's like being employed for a good employer and having other people trying to fucking poach you and offer you more money. And you stay there because you like it or because the money's good or whatever, but you have other options. So at first it's scary, and things are scary now mainly because the economy is shut, but I'm still allowed to work. I'm still allowed to do certain jobs. And the main thing too is it's right at the fucking end of the fucking winter. So right now, like, for us, like, like for guys that do trees, usually it fucking comes to a fucking standstill in the winter for them because either, well, if you don't work in the winter, it's because you don't want to work, because you can work in the winter. You can't do everything, but you can do, like, most things in the winter. So I don't mind, but, like, winter season is slow, so it's got to start back up again in the spring. So this is right about the time that it would start up, but I've done so much fucking advertising this year, And if it weren't for this fucking shutdown, I would be already ahead of the game. So it's a good thing I did my due diligence, though, because I'm still like in the game, and when people search for companies, like they find me, which was never the case for the past 2 years. You had to just find me on the bargain basement site. But yeah, that's cool, man. That's Look, some of my biggest videos on YouTube were product review videos. I would love to fucking I would love to become an affiliate. Even not getting money. I need gear for work, man. I need gear for work. I'll review fucking climbing equipment and chainsaws. Like I'll do that shit for free because I like doing it. But if companies want to fucking send me stuff, that's fucking awesome. Like you don't have to fucking pay me. That's payment enough. You can send me a truck to review also. I used to watch this guy's channel, Wrangler Star, but I got really jealous of him. Well, I got jealous of him right away, but there's also other reasons why I stopped watching him. But this guy has a huge channel. He's like a homesteading channel and stuff like that. But he like reviews like products and stuff like that. And like at first he did it for himself, but as his channel grew, like he got noticed and stuff like that. And he gets a shitload of fucking shit sent to him. He got a tractor sent to him like for free. It's like, here's your tractor. Like keep it for like 3 years and tell us what you think of it. And keep making videos about it. And like, we're going to take your notes into consideration, but mainly you're advertising for us. So yeah, sure. Have a fucking tractor. Yo, I want a fucking tractor. Again, give me all this shit, man. Give me all my free products that I want. I don't need money. Like, yo, just keep sending me all the products I want. Send me food to review also. No, I'm kidding. Fuck. I told you guys, I want to like hunt and fish and shit like that. That's fucking cool for me. But see what you're doing now, Jamie, though? Like, that's like a really smart thing about your business, though, because it's pretty much unaffected. Or, it doesn't have to be affected. People might say, yeah, it's not an essential service, but yeah, well, you can also sell it like completely fucking, behind closed doors and completely legally. And whatever, man. In times of fucking collapse and uncertainty, people spend a lot of fucking money and time on entertainment, especially if that's all they're fucking allowed to do. So you have a fucking, anyone that fucking makes t-shirts right now and that makes them like for themselves. And, if you have any sort of control over the design process, which you do, it's like what you guys were talking about before, making the coronavirus t-shirts. Like you can totally do that. It's like looking up fucking trending topics before making your YouTube videos, and then you make the videos on the trending topics. Something I never did, by the way. Clearly. But 4,000 subs, man. How does he get 4,000 subs? It's like probably the only time I've ever fucking mentioned his name in all my videos. Fuck. But 4,000 subs. And he went from like having like 1,000 to like 4,000 overnight. Fuck. Been on YouTube since 2007, man. Like, I think my first video was in 2010 or 2011 maybe, but I took it down. No, it was in 2000. It was in 2008. Fuck. It was a fucking Muay Thai video, but I didn't know what I was doing. It was before I actually learned it, so I took it down. Fuck. But my friend started making YouTube videos and he was getting crazy reviews, so I wanted to make one too. And then I made videos and no one fucking watched my channel and I got super fucking pissed. So I deleted them. Yeah, I think so too. That's you guys ever see this fucking guy, man, Dr. Todd Grande? He shows up on fucking search results for YouTube for everything that you search for except for him. And he's always like debunking it. It's like search for fucking David Icke, and he's the first search result. He's like debunking David Icke's crazy coronavirus claims. He's always fucking towing the establishment's line. Like, if you look up feminism or something, for instance, like the first video about it is going to be by him. It's kind of like how fucking how Bulldog Mindset always is like the first result on like anything like red pill related now. Yeah, there are places in India that sell fucking thousands of fucking fake subs. See, what I what I don't understand, well, there's a lot I don't understand about Eli, but I don't understand what his MO is. I mean, I don't understand what he wants. I I I tuned into like maybe like 10 minutes of total content from him. And I remember in one particular live stream, he was literally yelling at his subscribers and at his donors because he was saying that they weren't donating enough money to him for making his YouTube content worthwhile. But I know that if you buy subs and, if you just toe the line and do the same fucking content about the same people and it's always drama all the time, like you're only going to get so many people donating to you. It's going to be that same fucking group of people and they're not going to donate more and more money. They might keep donating, but like the amount is not going to increase like from you doing more of the same of nothing content. It's geared towards such a tiny fucking microcosm of YouTube. Like if he actually even tried to be a life coach, as fake as he is, that way he would make more money because at least he would dupe people into fucking going there, for, one or two fucking sessions. But it's all just fucking beef and drama. So you have maybe, he's got like a handful of subscribers that donate to him. And then he has like 4,000 fake subs. And what's his goal? To have like 100,000 passive subscribers or to get a YouTube plaque? Like, fuck, man. Again, doing it dishonestly. Why not just go up through the ranks properly or like through your own merit? If you want to find a loophole, that's cool. But usually you only learn about shortcuts by having to go through the actual fucking real way first. Like a good example of this is like sometimes when Mark and I are climbing trees, like Mark climbs often and but he doesn't climb as often as I do. And much of the time I'll have climbed the tree before him. And like I try to tell him like in advance, like, oh, you'll avoid that branch or like avoid that one or but like for the most part, if it's obviously broken, he can avoid it. But it's like for the most part, man, if I tell him to go a certain way, it won't necessarily even be a shortcut for him because we do things differently. So it's like he has to fucking go up himself. I can give him like little like a guideline or whatever, and he can choose to like follow part of it or not. But you can't tell someone that like, oh, the first way you do things, I'm going to give you the real way and you're never going to find a faster way. Because this is the fastest way that I found. It's like, no, man, it's just a fucking guide. But, ironically, what do I know? Fuck. Hardly anyone watches my fucking videos. But I'm grateful to everyone that's fucking here, who usually have a pretty tight fucking crew. Except for Jamie and Charles, who are rarely here, but welcome nonetheless. It's about fucking time. Well, Charles always fucking says, he always gives his fucking 2 cents on my videos. I don't talk a lot in them anymore. That's why I like the live streams. I like interacting with you guys. It's fun. It's and the more you guys talk, the less I have to. And it gives me subject matter. And I don't always want to talk about just like my struggling business all the time. Fuck. Well, it's not struggling, but I say that I guess for comedic effect. But dudes, I've been on for almost 2.5 hours. So I know it's cut just sharp like that, but I'm gonna end the stream here. I'm gonna fucking post it up after. So thanks all you guys for stopping by. And thanks for fucking giving your tips too about business and what you guys are doing, your predictions for the future. Because it matters a lot. It helps, brings different perspectives to it. When people fucking read this shit, guaranteed even if they fucking don't like me or don't agree with me, they can make sense of some of the shit that was at least said in the chat. So yeah, but I'm aware rabbit. He says, good to see you thriving. Hey, how's it going, man? Haven't seen you in a while. Hope everything is good. Hope you're wearing your fucking mask. But on that note, man, you caught me at the fucking end of the stream. I've been here almost 2.5 hours. So take it easy, guys. Thanks for coming. Gonna be a few fucking awkward moments here while I fucking end the broadcast. Just gonna keep filming my face, but such is life. Take care.